Hello.
And hello, everybody. We are live on Monday. Monday fun day. Valev just got here in the nick of time. We have our animes camera up. I think the most interesting animes camera is Gul Shah. Almost looks real.
It's very lifelike.
So hey everybody, hope you're doing okay, and everybody, glad you're here with us tonight. We are going to be playing FaeRun Reborn here shortly, but before we get started, a couple house cleaning items down below. Everything you need to know about us is down there in our Discord. I am upping the schedule on the one shot this week. If you join our Discord, if someone could put that up in the chat for me, that'd be great. Exclamation Discord, I believe. There it is. If you join our Discord and accept the invite for the event for the one shot, we stream that live on Twitch Thursday night from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It's a level 20 one shot adventure. Also, it's a fresh new week on our Discord, and every week we give away a set of dice. You can jump into our Bring Your Dice channel, roll a D1000, and win a chance at getting some dice. They're doing, I think we're doing the shell theme, the seashore seashore shell theme this week. That's Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. Do we all remember that one? Probably not, because I'm old as fuck. With that, we've got...
Yeah, I remember that one too.
We have shows every night. Check the schedule. The schedule will have a slight hiccup for next week. This show will be taking a night off next week, and Tuesday's night's show will be taking a night off next week as well, as I will be traveling north to go and pick up my son from college and bring him back down home. And we're going to turn it into probably a 2 to 3 day road trip, and be a couple silly old introvert. Well, I'm a silly old introvert. He's a silly young introvert, where we will act very gluttonous, silly, smelly, and just two men traveling south after I pick him up from school up in Walla Walla, Washington. So it'd be an interesting drive for me. I haven't done a long drive since... God, probably not since me and my partner in crime, Callista, went up to visit your dad, I think, right? Wasn't that our last big drive?
Yep, and that was January of 2020.
Yeah, it was like right after Christmas and right before the plague descended upon the worldwide community. So a couple other things. We have shows at pretty much every night. Join us on Mondays. We do chill sessions where we kind of review and go over ideas, concepts, and other things. And the lovely red puppy dog and Valev, are you with us yet, or are you still setting up? I wonder if he's still setting up.
I heard him briefly.
Yeah, he might still be.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Oh,
We're
okay,
good.
cool. There he is. Kai, why don't you go ahead and tell us about some of the projects that you're working on?
Okay. Well, I'm starting a new podcast called A Seat at the Table. It's a group of us that are just a bunch of friends that we met on a few Discords. The DM is from Waylays and Melees. So if anybody's heard that, they're familiar with it.
Nice.
Other than that, I mostly just play for fun, and I play another game on here as well. Yeah, and you probably see me around Twitter all over the place.
Nice. Valev, remind us what you're working on.
Well, there is a podcast / we kind of call it a vodcast. We're doing video as well, but it is going to be released on YouTube as well as little snippets on Instagram, and we're going to do some live streams every once in a while on Twitch. But it's called The General Adventuring Company, and it's a bunch of us like crazy kids, out doing the fun D&D 5e homebrew stuff. I play a Dragonborn. It's really fun. And yeah, I'm getting to enjoy homebrew stuff so extensively with the games that I'm playing with you, and then with our other GM as well. It's great.
Nice. I know homebrew is my preferred method, but been doing this long enough time that homebrewing games it's a lot of fun. So that pretty much takes care of all of our house cleaning. Let's go ahead and recap and talk about where we last left off. Previous session, the team had been confronted by a relic of a very old time period, a time period before, or at least maybe just before, the conclusion of the Rift Wars. A sentinel type creature, a construct, had been provoked by what we now know to be the spy, who is the scribe that was working for both Vert and Tamlin, and had taken on many different disguises. The most recent disguise being that of the dwarf Bash, and seemingly coordinating and creating the diversion in an effort to take the final parcel and final bit of information that Bash, or whoever she is, had accumulated to take to the Jasper mining colony, now being held in check by the slavers. The team defeated the Sentinel by utilizing Max's unique ability to inhabit sentient individuals, or in this case, a sentient object. However, not knowing for sure what this effect would entail, Max was safely stowed away inside the magical locket or necklace that Arena wears around her neck in an effort to help transport and deal with the fact that she is the proud owner of a very large doggy. And this large doggy can be difficult to move around at times.
Especially climbing up ropes.
Yeah,
Or climbing down ropes.
ledges,
Ladders.
three-headed dragons, all the things that make it challenging. You guys then handed over the prisoner to Vert and Brachus's individuals who took her in custody, and let you know that you were more than basically, if you want to interrogate her, feel free to do so at your leisure, as you were informed. For the most part, the rest of you settled into a long rest the evening after the encounter with the creature. This sentinel creature, however, is still dealing with the fact that Max and it are trying to figure out where they kind of fit into this whole situation. For the rest of you, with the exception of Valev, who managed to secretly keep hidden the fact that he had recovered the stolen object from the tomb, and through some very creative transformational processes, managed to burrow into the destroyed site from where the Sentinel had arisen from, and made their way through the barrier and into the tomb, returning the object and receiving a gratitude whisper upon the completion of its return. Lev then made his way back towards the Chimera, and I believe we leveled up last session, correct? When we finished a little early that last week.
Yep.
And as all of you slipped into your long rest, you are now awake in the Chimera Mercantile, one by one, rousting from your rooms, smelling the familiar smells of a breakfast already delivered to the common room, where each of you, with the exception of Max, are now standing on a fresh day of the common room. This is also, I believe, the final day, or the day of departure, for the Maw Chasm Bridge, and I believe Gulshaw, your family is in charge of the final caravan making its way in that direction before they decide to head back towards the Chultian desert in preparation for another long season of hunting and harvesting the desert lowlands and highlands for both skins, meat, and other things that they will harvest amongst their tribal clan route that they utilize to move goods back and forth, establishing this location as a primary location. They should be able to return in the fall. But that is what's kind of on the agenda. But we'll do a quick recap because there are other things to consider. Brachus is currently assembling an armed force to take out towards the Jasper mining colony in an effort to reclaim the colony from these forces that have taken it from Silverhand. There's also the fact that the new gnome is in the process of working with Unther in rebuilding and reestablishing the forge that was destroyed not too long ago. There is also the matter of dealing with Max's new sentient form, as well as a great deal new information revealed and discovered in regards to the secret that Tamlin and Vert have kept as it's related to Lord Silverhand and Lord Silverhand's family. The understanding of the refraction cube and its interesting effects on the current state of the world as well. We still have Percosta's lair that remains unrediscovered, a place that you had gone to quite some time ago, earlier on in the spring, tail end of winter season during the transition. There are lots of plans on the table at this point, lots of choices to be made. All of you gather around a table of food and begin to enjoy your morning. What would you guys like to?
Breakfast, my favorite.
Where's Max?
He's still in my necklace.
Or sorry,
construct.
where's Valev at?
Lev should be there as well.
Huh? What? Sorry, I fell asleep at the table.
Don't fall into your soup. You know, you might drown.
Okay.
Okay. And that does not count as a bath.
What? Huh?
Drowning, it doesn't count as a bath.
Yeah, neither of them sound fun.
Right. Yeah. No, I didn't think so either. Oh, don't do that. You're going to make me yawn.
Finish working on Dax. Like, she got up a little bit early to kind of make sure he was all repaired. And she went ahead and took a look at herself in the mirror, trying to decide whether or not she was going to change human, and decided she's going to come to breakfast as her tiefling form.
Okay.
No.
So her and Blaze will walk into the dining area, and she'll get some breakfast for her and a little plate for Blaze, because Blaze is a good boy, isn't he?
Yes,
Very
and
good boy.
blink hellhounds definitely need, their sustenance. How many of us have seen her in the tiefling form? Have we all seen her in the tiefling form by this point?
Well,
We all have.
It's not so much seeing her in the form as much as attempting to not. Well, you do recall that both Vert and Tamlin had made mention of. Well, Tamlin more explicitly had made mention of her form.
Right.
But also, Tamlin had also mentioned that they didn't want to feel like they were. They didn't want Kai to feel like that they told you ahead of time. They want her to get to that comfort level on her own and reveal herself. And by revealing herself, that would be the indicator to the group that she finally feels at home, feels comfortable enough to share her visage. Some of you have seen her that way near where you rescued the blacksmith. Others have seen her this way now since dealing with some alternate encounters, but they were kind of brief in response. But there was mention that Tamlin would greatly appreciate you acting surprised, as they say.
It's still a surprise. I mean, I'm staring at her
Yeah, fair enough.
because it's a tiefling, and it's like,
Huh.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
morning.
Morning.
And I kind of wave my hand.
And I'm like,
Hey, Kai.
I know I've seen it before, but it's
Why are
still
you
weird.
standing on the table?
I don't, hey, breakfast.
Aiming a
Thank
bow
you
at
very
someone.
much.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, it
you're,
is.
yeah. Oh goodness, look at my
Was
plate.
that me?
That
Was
was
that?
totally you. That was totally you. Table dancing. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Kai,
Derek earning a living. Can
Kai,
Derek?
did you finish fixing him?
I'm too shy
Yes,
for
I
that.
did.
He's working. He's all.
Yeah,
Better
and I
now.
would say for the most part, Kai, the previous night prior to the encounter with the Sentinel creature, you had done all the prep work. It was just the assembly that needed to be concluded.
Yeah, I finished that in the morning. So he is all ready to go.
Cool.
Hopefully, he doesn't meet the broadside of a log again.
Yes, let's try and avoid that in the future.
Oh, is that what took him out?
Yep, it was a trap. You pulled him out of it.
Yeah, I didn't really look at it all the way. I just saw him and grabbed him.
Yeah, it looked
Yeah.
like he got smashed by some sort of a tree rigging they had or something. I didn't get a good look at it either.
Yep.
So,
I don't want to do that again.
Mm-mm.
No.
so your adopted father is from the past. You're a tiefling, and this stuff never came up in conversation with him the whole time you lived with him.
No, it did not. As far as I knew, they were the original, you know, my parents were just there. I'd grown up with them. They never said anything to me.
Was Lady Silverhand also here at the time?
Yes, but she fell ill and died.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. It was a great loss for all of us.
Above game, isn't that what they said kind of like happened to some of them, that like because of the like time traveler, the physicality, some of them would get sick and die.
Yeah.
That was mentioned by Tamlin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tamlin said that. Yeah. Okay.
Are any of your other adopted siblings unique like you?
I don't believe so. Not tiefling for sure. I mean, I believe they're all different, but not as far as I know. I haven't seen any other tiefling family members
That you know of.
that I know of.
They could all be tieflings. That'd be interesting.
As far as I could know, possibly. At this point, I don't know what to believe anymore.
Well, I'm sure you can believe that your father loves you. That's
Yes,
really the
this
most
is
important
true.
part.
Are we going to accompany the caravan today?
Yeah, I think we want to go and see what's at the bridge. We could accompany the caravan, or we could go with Brackus to the mine. Deal with the slavers more?
We
Or
also have the
caravan.
meeting with Tamlin and Lord Silverhand later today.
That's true. What time is the meeting and what time is the caravan leaving?
Gulshaw, give me an insight check.
45.
18.
18. The caravan should leave in the evening with the expectation of arriving the following morning. Your uncle was insistent on keeping a night schedule to counter the fact that during the day there have been reports of unknown patrols of individuals coming and going. So his hope is to disrupt that pattern and use that as an opportunity to kind of make their way on the eastern route to the Maw Chasm Bridge.
Okay.
I should have slept in.
And as far as the rest of you are concerned, it was mentioned that the meeting with Tamlinvert and Silverhand would be sometime in the morning, anytime after breakfast.
Okay.
And we can just head over there after we finish up. Yeah.
Hey, Arena.
Yeah?
Is Max out yet?
No, I haven't brought him out yet. I was wondering if we wanted to take him out in maybe Vert's safe place.
That sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Does
I'm probably gonna sleep today. I was up really late, and you know, because I knew that we were gonna have to be up late for tonight when we go with the caravan. So
Can I roll an insight check?
Go for it. Give me deception, Valev, unless you're not trying to be deceitful.
That's a 5.
I got a 13. Thank you.
The dirt at his feet, the condition of his fingernails, and his exhaustion, he's definitely been up to something overnight. He was out doing something for sure.
Oh,
What were
yes.
you doing last night?
Before you go back to bed, you
Hmm?
should take another bath.
Mhm.
You're filthy.
Fine.
You don't have to use soap if you don't want to. That won't.
I just don't
then-
want to smell like the flowers again, because it's
We
like
can find you
animals
other
notice, and it's
soaps.
weird.
We can find you other soaps that don't smell like flowers.
Do you have
Are
some that
you-
smell like dirt and trees?
We can probably find some that smell like trees.
I
What
could
about deer
probably
scat?
use some.
I don't think we can
No.
find any that smell like deer scat. You might
Okay.
have to go to Monsters Inc. for that.
Okay. Is that like another mercantile?
Yeah, but it's in like 2 towns over.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we're interested in his bath, his grooming habits, we know. But
I'm more
Looks like he's
interested
been-
why there's dirt on his fingernails. Exactly.
exactly. What have we been up to, Valev? Have you seen Scorch, your friend, recently? Do you know where his whereabouts?
Is he okay?
He's I haven't seen him. No, but he talked to me. He speaked to me. Spoke to me. He spoke to me.
What did he
In
say?
my head, that he was really sorry, and he lost control, kind of. But he said that he. Oh, oh. And I just kind of like stopped talking because I realized he asked me not to tell anybody like, when he was coming back.
Go on, you were saying?
Better roll persuasion on that one.
Yes.
Valev, are you keeping something from us? Because it seems to me like you're
Oh, yeah,
keeping something from
He
us. And
asked me not to say exactly
What was it that he asked you not to say?
where he was or where he was going.
well,
Oh,
we won't say anything to anyone else. You have to trust us. We're a company of friends. You have to make sure that we all know what's going on.
Probably trust them, Valev.
I think we should let it lie.
as long as
Well,
he's safe.
He is safe, and he.
Oh, I'm
does-
sure he's safe. He can incinerate 100 people in one breath. I'm not worried about his safety.
Well,
I'm worried about the area's safety. I'm worried about Whist's safety. I'm worried about our safety. He's proven
Let's,
himself to be unreliable.
Well, he
let's
did get
say-
us out of that situation, even
That
if
he
it
did.
was,
Yeah,
albeit
yeah.
chaotic.
He did. He did.
Mm-hmm.
We probably could have gotten ourselves out of it without having to incinerate half the people there.
True, but they deserved
yes.
it. So I mean,
And
Some of
Not
the some
the
of the
slaves.
enslaved were killed.
no, that was bad.
Yep.
Yes, that was bad. So yes, once again, where is he at?
Well, he's just gonna have to come back and make, like restitution.
He's on his way.
Okay.
To where?
The mercantile
Do you know when he's coming back?
tonight.
Okay. Just have him sneak in. He can stay in your room.
He didn't want to see Vert
That's
at
fine.
all.
That's fine.
Oh, I'm sure he doesn't.
All right. I'm just gonna get up after eating and get ready to go.
Yep. Let's go to Vert and Tamlin's and see Silverhand and
Velev,
hopefully
do
get Max out.
you know what responsibility means?
That's like when somebody says something to you, you respond to them, right?
No, it's
actually really good. That's you roll for respawn, and it's an ability check. I know that one.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Respond. It's respond.
Respondability.
It means when you, for instance, if a person tells Vert that he'll take care of the dragon he's going to take out and play with,
Mm-hmm.
that means that whatever happens, whatever that dragon does, the person that got him out to play with is responsible for what that dragon does.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it wasn't for a certain person, that dragon would not be out of its cage and running rampant.
Okay.
Enclosure.
So
Enclosure.
the responsible person for the dragon is you, Velev.
I don't follow.
Well, if he does anything, like burns down the Chimera Mercantile when he accidentally coughs, or decides
I
he
don't
wants
think
to see
that's how
more
dragon
people
breath
burn
works.
and decides to incinerate the town, it will be on your conscience. It will be on your soul. That's it. Enjoy your breakfast.
Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna grab some food and then head up to my bedroom and go to bed.
Sigh. Okay.
He flies away. I'm gonna go to bed.
How did he get what?
He cast fly.
I'm going to bed.
And he is just so happy that he was able to get by without having to say anything else about the night before.
Fair enough. Lev takes his leave. You can hear the door kind of shut as he makes his way down the hallway, leaving the rest of you here. Max, are you there?
Maybe.
You've been in this space now for, well, it's kind of hard to gauge time here. It's never really night. It's never really day. It's a temporary pocket that seems to create a very large, fantastical, like, landmass and environment, which is mostly geared towards ghosts.
Making a wolf happy.
Making Ghost the dire wolf kind of happy. It's strange. Every now and then, very like color-oriented rabbits of pink, blue, and purples kind of go flopping by and running. Large birds of fantastical colors lumber slowly. It's almost like everything is made here to entertain, not actually represent reality. Bubbles kind of float out of a tree. Enough distractions that if you're, not an unintelligent direwolf, but a bored direwolf, you definitely have some activity around you. You've been fused to this thing now for at least 8, 9, maybe even 10 hours. You kind of lost track. Go ahead and give me a charisma save.
Give me a second.
Yep.
Now, if I remember correctly, he didn't have to sleep.
With
As a
advantage because I returned the thingy.
The thingy and the sentinel are connected to a degree as a trigger, but for the most part,
He shouldn't be fighting against it as much because the thing was returned and he kept saying return the thingy.
Calm down.
Those exact things.
Calm
I'm just
down.
trying to get you advantage, bro.
I got 26. Calm down.
Okay,
it's not quite the reason why. There's other details that might have influenced that and what that
Hey,
was
to
related
Valev's
to.
mind, any success Max has in there is because he returned the thingy.
Fair enough.
I got 26.
26. Without even realizing it, you're now walking. You will yourself to understand how this thing works, and the neurological connection of the mask and the sentient behavior of the sentinel kind of meet halfway. You begin to feel the synapses kind of fuse, and the first set of synapse recall is you're suddenly in control of the ability for this thing to walk. And you're now practicing this art and walking about the space. The sentinel's voice kind of echoing in your head. This feels weird. It's like there's two of us here, but I feel like you're driving.
It's only weird if you make it weird.
No, I can assure you, you've made it pretty weird.
Just relax and let it happen.
It's two souls in one body. It's not that hard to grasp. But however, I kind of like shake the new leg out. Yes, it is weird. For me, it's just you're not made of skin and bone. You're made of metal and metal.
I am not aware that I've been made. I am who I am. What are you? How? I feel your presence as an object. Feel your mind forming with my sentient nature. I don't sense any malicious energy with you, but what are you?
And from what I can guesstimate, we're probably actually in similar age variety. I'm actually just an old artifact, just like you, of the long past. Old, high-quality magic.
Do you have a memory of where you were from? What place you were found? Do you know what or who you are?
The only thing I can really remember is what I was used for, which was theater, plays, any sort of dramatization of events. I was used for acting, and that is all I remember. I do remember the very last time, though. I do remember some sort of collapsing of a building, and then the next thing I knew waking up was being put on by my former host that you saw and almost burned alive.
Do you have a sense of time?
Internally, no. I just do what other normal humans do and how to tell time.
So, this mask that you became, did somebody else use you for a specific purpose? I sense two displacements of your memory. I sense two realities.
Sounds about right. I would account for one being before this modern era and the one being now, the current.
Yes, but I sense an age with you, an ancient age. I feel like your mask is a vessel that's older than who you actually are. Your arcane nature smells and feels familiar to my understanding of what I think you are. But I'm confused because I'm not sure that you know who you think you are.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? Well, I don't know in truth how old I am, where I'm from, or anything like that, so your guess is as good as mine, robot buddy, statue buddy.
Oh, I don't make guesses. I just merely make inquiries. So, the real rub of this conversation is, do I wink out of existence, or do we figure out a way to join our sentient natures, see what happens?
I have
Come
an idea.
on. Melding minds.
We could, if you want to, it's up to you. Do you want to join together or stay separate?
Well, my concern is staying separate means we may not be able to totally utilize combined abilities. Our timing could be off, our sense of understanding things could be confused. Even now, I know we are somewhere safe, but yet without the ability to track time in this space does dull my wit a bit. I feel like my energy and your energy should be the same for us to be fully effective, but I don't know what that means.
Well, it's just a matter of working in sync, as it were. Or we could split it up into groups. I control some portion, you control another portion.
I like this idea. I am your movement, and I am your armor. How does that sound? You are us in action.
Well, if I am us in action, then aren't I technically the movement as well? Because I'm the one who deems where to move. But I get your idea of you are the body. I am the soul, in a sense.
That seems okay to me. I think that will work. I think, however, I'm not used to being a sentient creature all the time. I have sat in a very darkened, lonely place for a very long time, for at least 2 years or less, maybe. Once again, being in the space, I lose my sense of time and understanding of time, but I think that is correct, since the two creatures that came into the tomb with a willing third who was the Silverhand bloodline. But I feel like this is a bargain we can strike. I remain in existence. You are the other half of a brain that's not quite formed yet. And we just, as they say, try to figure it out.
Yes. And I'd like to bring up a little bit of a side thing that would be good for you.
Hmm.
Currently, I hold title over the land that you technically are bound to. So as long as I own that land, I can keep it in much tighter wraps so that no one would ever disturb it again in the future. Cover it up so that you would never have to go through what happened the other day.
I sense my fusion with you has definitely disconnected my bond with that tomb, that place of guardianship. I don't know whether to be grateful or confused by this. I sense that was one of my main purposes, was to protect that location, protect those items and objects and former entities from being, well, um, robbed and desecrated, perhaps. I find myself troubled with words. Your thoughts are mingling with mine and new words. What is a fart monkey bubble? What does that mean?
There's this thing called comedy, okay?
Oh, okay.
And what you just did there was not funny.
I merely read your. I'm attempting to understand your thoughts, and some of those were on the surface.
Yeah, well, that's a surface thought. We don't use those. There's a reason that I only think them and I don't say them.
Ah, understood.
Your surface thoughts are fart monkey bubble.
Shut up. You're not there.
It's a loud pigeon.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I stand. Shall we practice?
I don't see why not. I think we're going to be in here for a while.
I'll say for an undetermined amount of time, movement, arm movement, you even practice the ability to enlarge up to about a 15-foot size. You even manage to begin to get a sense that your armor class now is 23.
Oh, this is going to work great for what I had in mind.
And you don't know if it's hours, days, minutes, or seconds, but a great deal of your conscious and subconscious time seems to be spent practicing what this thing is capable of, or at least what it thinks it's capable of. The fusion of these two sentient realities kind of conflicting from time to time, but you're getting the hang of it. So back to everybody else in the Chimera. Valev has wandered off to bed. The rest of you are finishing up your breakfast. What is on the agenda for the day?
I want to cast Word of Recall and set up the Chimera as a sanctuary.
Okay. How long does that take? Does it say?
It's an action.
Okay. Yeah. You identify a location. We'll say it is the. You can mark anywhere in here that you want to identify as the recall point.
Basically, right on top of that carpet. The same place that Max put the circle.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's just an extra
Get out
precaution.
of jail. Yeah, get out of jail free card without it being too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then yeah, looking at everybody. So Bert and
You all
Tamlin?
ready to go?
Yeah. Do we want to leave Max in there until we get there?
I don't know what he was doing, but he was up all night for a good amount of time.
Not Valev. Max. In the necklace.
Oh,
On the
yeah.
construct.
I think it's a good idea to leave him in there until we get to a secure area.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't want that thing to expand in here.
No, it'd take the roof off. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's go talk to Vert and Tamlin then.
Okay, who's all going to Vert and Tamlin's?
Kyle go. She'll
Okay.
send Blaze off to stay here as usual.
I'm gonna ask Ghost if he wants to go play with Blaze or if he wants to just stay in the mercantile, or if he wants to come too.
He looks at Blaze and looks at you, and the two of them immediately make their way over to a giant pile of pillows,
Okay.
and begin to kind of make themselves very comfortable.
You have dogs over there.
In the corner.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
On the pile of pillows.
Okay, good idea, because we're gonna have a late night.
As they
Yay.
kind of curl up and post-meal kind of relax in the corner, knowing that sometimes hanging out with you guys is exhausting. People die and they get hurt. So they're fairly happy with that. Hey, get out of here, Valev. You're not there. So,
Back to bed.
Gulshaw, are you going with them to Verts as well? You're muted. I couldn't hear you. Still muted. I can't hear you.
Yeah. Yes, I'm coming. I heard you.
So Max still being in the necklace. The rest of you, Derek, are you going as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So all of you begin to head.
Except Valev.
Yep. All of you begin to head downstairs, and I take it you're going to Vert's Tower then.
Yes.
Okay. I haven't built it yet, but I am in the process of building Vert's Tower, as they say.
Okay. I'm sure it will look amazing.
So, making your way through the now busy morning streets, the very beginnings of the caravan, Gulshaw's uncle, is already beginning to form up. Just the kind of preparatory work as you walk by the 10 heavily loaded wagons attached to the basilisk-like creatures that pull them. Some of the caretakers kind of managing the beasts of burden while also continuing to load the wagon. Making your way down the main drag, you pass the Lord's Inn Tavern on the way. You pass some of the market district. All of this a familiar pace for all of you to take. Make your way into the residential quarter. Once there, you make your way through the front gate or the secondary gate into the residence, heavily guarded. In fact, you can see a lot of fresh activity over at the now recovered smaller jail section off to the side, attached to kind of maintain peace and order in this district, knowing that that's where the scribe is currently being held. The guard appears to be doubled, and other more secure activity is, kind of stepped up at this point. There even seems to be a queue of people lined up, right, waiting to get in. There seems to be a individual standing at the beginning of this line of folk and casting a brief magic effect on them, and then they let them through. It seems like maybe identities are now being checked for some of the staff and caretakers of the residents. However, the sergeant at arms sees all of you and goes, "Oh, they're waiting for you in Vert's Tower. Um, uh, his lordship and Tamlin hasn't been there yet. He is still in his study, but Bert and his lordship are waiting for you." And you're kind of guided towards Vert's Tower. There's no line in front of Vert's Tower today, for whatever reason, is not taking audience. Perhaps the serious nature of the conversation that's coming up maybe has caused him to shut down his normal inquiries for the day, and he is essentially only expecting the lot of you to show up. You walk into the lab, a busy but organized space. There, leaning over some very large unrolled paper, a familiar haversack that was taken from the scribe. Familiar looking books stacked up there as well. A lot of the evidence and details that were found on the scribe are now on Vert's table. Lord Silverhand is kind of knuckles down on the table, kind of reading intently. Vert, arms crossed, looking and watching Lord Silverhand as he is digesting the information. Vert looks up to see all of you at the door entry and, thank you for coming. Your lordship, the owners of the Chimera Mercantile are here. I shall receive them for you. Yes, but please, you would let them in, that would be, so we could discuss things. You watch as Vert gives Lord Silverhand a look of concern and then walks away, leaving him in the background to stand in front of you. I'm afraid that this copy is not as good as we had hoped. Same illness that took the others seems to begin its ravaging this one. He's aware. He understands. He's even helping us look backwards to maintain our path forward. So tread lightly, if you would, please.
Can I
How
do a medicine
many
check?
Silverhands have you gone through?
Oh, well, I think this particular Silverhand will be number 8.
Can I do a medicine check?
Sure. Give me a medicine check.
And Kai is concerned. She will approach her father,
Okay.
and
And he sees you immediately. Oh, hi, my dear. It's good to see you. I see you're fitting in quite well. You've already had a couple of adventures, have you?
yes, I did, Father. They were quite exciting, and everybody was so helpful and protective. It was great.
You're
But you aren't doing very well.
Oh, don't worry. It's just a cough. I know Vert is concerned that perhaps I am repeating things that have already happened before, but I'm not sure.
Can I do yeah. Dirty 20.
Okay. I'm I'm okay. I'll be fine. You,
Insight
however, have not. Go ahead, make insight check. You, however, have not put up your visage.
18.
Felt comfortable enough with them that I showed them my true form.
I applaud you for your comfort, daughter. I think it is about time that people understand that old habits should be dissuaded and old realities can change. I applaud you. Pursue this course. I think this is a good course. For you,
Thank you,
Arena,
Father.
the discoloration of the eyes, the discoloration around the ridge of the nose, the capillaries that are semi-bursted on the tip of the nose, and a strange kind of discoloration of the lower lip. He definitely has something. It's not a cough. You overheard what he just told Kai, but you have no idea. The symptoms are not familiar to you at all.
Okay.
Please, everybody, come. Let's discuss what we found. And please, daughter, take a seat. All of you, please, don't stand on my account. And all of you are
I
kind
will
of,
sit here.
yeah, you sit down right next to him, and he kind of smiles at you, kind of nodding his head. Recognizes Gulshaw Arena, beams a little bit when he sees Derek, looks about. Where is Valev? I'd hoped he'd be here for this conversation.
He's sleeping.
He does tend to work more in the evenings than he does during the days. That's kind of his.
He was out late.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, and where's that clever individual that wears the mask and building and is in the process of building the theater that's now, unfortunately, I know we've damaged it a bit, but I have hired extra hands to put things back in order as quickly as possible.
Hold up my necklace.
He's
Hold up
kind
my
of.
necklace. God, would you stop?
We
I
need
hold up-
to.
Yeah.
A
I
lot
hold
of
up my
awk-
necklace. He's in here.
a lot of awkward stares and commentary. Well, I'll leave that conversation to Vert. I am here to discuss these things before we leave for the Marchasm, for the celebrations of opening up the bridge. I know, Vert, I know what you said, but it's important that I be seen there. I'm sure an illusionary spell can make me look somewhat better than I really am to your eyes. My lord, it's not that you look poorly, it's just are similar symptoms to the others, and I am concerned for your remaining health. I understand, truly do. Anyways, let's
Can I ritually cast detect poison and disease?
Sure. You can do that while you're listening in on the conversation. Well, let us discuss circumstances. Clearly, this individual worked for whoever's leading this organization that has overwhelmed and taken my colony from me. Their interest does seem to be the mines in that area. Not entirely sure they hope to find there. We do have your notes safely retained. We think this individual, the scribe, was going to take everything that she had to its master, whoever that might be. But we've prevented that from happening. Now, when this person goes missing, I suspect this will definitely trigger a response from those in charge at the Jasper mining colony. You watch as Vert hands the Lord a cup. He drinks it. His voice gets a little bit better. He sounds a little bit more energized. I am unaware of what their true nature and goal is. I do know that that area was once known as the Snowflake Mountains. We can confirm this because of the relic that you brought back from the ruins in Pim. We now have the telling stone, the stone that knows and can describe for us in visual detail of the condition of this world some 300 years ago. And the overlay of the location known as the Oshram Temple, the Snowflake Mountains, and most of the locations seem to be in that area. There is even an old abandoned dwarven mine fortress called the Hammer Ridge, and I believe that might be the location that you discovered where the fire giant Warren was located as well. Whether they took it over, made it their own after the Rift Wars, I do not know, but we are definitely gathering up more information regarding in hopes that we do go back there. We can put together a map for you and yours if you think at some point in the future this might be a direction that you choose to go in. Now, with that being said, we must assume that the celebration at the bridge, well, is probably there's probably a surprise waiting for us. I can't imagine whoever has done this deed at the Jasper mining colony intends to allow us to, well, celebrate in such a manner without paying a penalty or cost for disrupting their plans. Between what
Yes.
you and yours have done to the west, wiping out one of their roving groups and finding and capturing the scribe, I would imagine their response will be quite visceral. Thoughts?
They do seem to attack us whenever we're doing something big. And now we know how they've been getting all their information,
Yes.
or at least a good portion of it.
Yes, I believe that maybe multiple couriers have already been sent. This particular was the final one. And this is what concerns me the most is if this scribe was the final courier to deliver the last of the information, clearly they already have something planned. But currently, 2 of our scouts that we have sent north into the Jasper mining colony have not returned yet. We have managed to scry on them. They are safe. They just have not found a safe route back to us, as a great deal of activity going on in that general area.
It's Lord Silverhand, may I ask, you're from the era before the Cataclysm, correct?
I am copy of myself, fractured through time. Unfortunately, withdrawing my fractured sentient nature through time, if I die, my timeline collapses with it, so that outcome no longer exists. If I go back, I restore that outcome. I had hoped that with Vert and Tamlin's help, we had deciphered the challenge of the illness, but I think, unfortunately, whether I'm in a new timeline or a reflection of an old timeline, whatever inherent disease or infection that I have through my lineage of my family, I cannot evade that. It comes with me no matter where I am, I suspect. However, with some of the magics and alchemy items that Vert has assembled for me, kept me sustained. Until recently, I will admit I have not been feeling as well as I normally feel. Arena, as this conversation between Derek and Lord Silverhand are going on and everyone is listening intently, you finish ritually casting Detect Disease.
Okay.
There is a sense of an illness that is imbued into the very core of his existence. It is a debilitating and would appear to be a genetic disease of sort. It is something that would be attached to his very existence, and as he described, could be bloodline related. It would appear that the blood itself is the carrier of this disease, whether the blood debilitates over time, causing an atrophy of all the muscular tissue of the body. It's not a disease that you're familiar with under any circumstances, but it's plain to see. It's just not one that you know.
Okay.
So,
Word in my mouth. There it
so,
is.
so thoughts, concerns, ideas. I do believe that going to the bridge is a paramount important that we must maintain. I do not want to give away much information by reacting differently. Just merely have to be better prepared, I suspect.
I think we were planning on actually escorting the caravan later on when they leave.
Yes, I believe Gulshaw's uncle, and he nods in your direction, Gulshaw. I believe your uncle and aunt are involved in this little venture. Before they head back to the Chultian desert, they will be missed. They have stepped up our timetable quite a bit, and for this I'm grateful. But yes, I also understand that Uncle Fatma, I believe, has asked us for a night patrol, seeing as how the activity along the eastern route to the Maw Bridge has been rather busy. Of course,
Yes,
there
he
still
was.
is that matter of an active volcano in our backyard.
And an army also.
Yes, I believe Brachus is making quite a bit of headway. He looks towards Vert. I believe, Vert, if I'm not wrong, he's managed to assemble some 482 well-trained and armed individuals. Yes, my lord, but unfortunately, if he takes them all, that leaves the Crown's Guard, and the Crown's Guard still only numbers about 50, so, well, we want to be cautious in how many that we send. By sending everything that Brachus has created in one fell swoop could be dangerous, to say the least.
I would agree with that, especially considering the fact that we've encountered a number of their bands so close to Whist in such a short amount of time.
Oops, I always do that. Hold on.
He always bumps me off for a map.
Well, no, it's... I always forget how to put it back. I accidentally clicked on my Discord screen when I didn't mean to. There it goes. It's the grid. It's the grid setting. I was clicking on a separate screen to pull something up, but I inadvertently hit that Discord grid setting, and everybody popped out of existence.
So I wanna ask Silverhand. Was he sick before in your timeline? Were you sick before you came?
I don't
To this
believe. I don't believe so. I believe I was fine when my sentient nature was fractured and I was brought forward in time. I was cognitive of who and what I was and where I was, and Hamlin and Vert's explanation seemed quite understood. They did take me to my foremost self that was brought back, who was lying in state at the time, so that they could have conversation with me about it. And, well, felt fine at the time.
Okay. I'm gonna look at Vert's the only one in here, right?
Of the
Of the two?
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look at Vert and ask, have you cast a restoration on him?
We've tried between Untha, myself, and Tamlin. Right. In fact, one of the reasons I had sent Derek and his previous associates into the ruins of Pim was to locate some magical mushrooms that I had hoped that would allow me to alter his physical state.
And the restoration didn't help?
Well, I don't know if it was my poor manufacture or the nature of the magic was not good enough. I'm not really sure, but that was attempted with the 7th one before we brought this current copy into existence.
How did the 7th one respond to restoration?
It didn't respond at all.
Okay, so it didn't make him worse?
And the strange thing is, Unther is a practitioner of the restoration of the soul. He attempted to raise the dead, but to no avail. The silver thread tying the soul to the physical body, unobtainable, could not be found.
Okay. I want to try it anyways.
Oh, you are more than welcome to try, my dear.
So I'm going to try. Lesser restoration does a disease. Greater restoration does not do a disease, right? I'm asking the GM, not Vert.
So you're trying to figure out which one to use?
Well, because Lesser Restoration says you can touch a creature and end either one disease or one condition afflicting it. Greater Restoration says that you can one effect, a curse, a reduction of one's ability scores. It doesn't say
Right.
it doesn't say a disease.
Correct. Based on your medicine check and the realization of the condition of the disease, you could certainly try a lesser restoration effect on him if you'd like to.
I want to try.
Okay.
I've asked. It says it doesn't make it worse. To try.
All right. When she does that, I'm going to use my circlet for a divine intervention.
Is that the one once per week? That particular
once per month.
Once per month?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, this ought to be really fucking interesting. Whoa.
We got gods coming up in here now. This room's about to blow up.
There are gods in there, and I'm not even there.
So I will say timing wise, Arena, you begin. Are you using it instantaneously or?
Yeah, I'm not ritually casting it.
Vert kind of steps off to the back and offers a oversized chair to his lordship. He gets up, holding Kai's hand in the process. The two of them, Kai leads her father over to the overstuffed chair, sets him down. They embrace quickly, and she kind of drifts behind the overstuffed chair, but still keeping a worried look on her adoptive father, or at least the one that may be her adoptive father. These things kind of blend together. And you cast Lesser Restoration. At the moment of recognition, Gulshaw, Derek is standing off to your right. And all of you watch as Arena finishes casting it. But the point of casting it, you invoke that magic that you've discovered in the crown for the very first time. You feel things begin to slow down slightly around you, to the point where everybody appears to not be moving at all.
I know this. It's going to happen.
All the light in the space kind of undulates in it bursts outward. A gentle cascade of feathers begin to fall all around you. That familiar white mask hovers there momentarily. Give me a charisma save, please.
Okay. Get my character sheet back because I was looking at that. Come on, man. Where are you going?
Crazy.
that even looked better with the look on your face when you said that, Cliss. Look on your cat's face. That's a great, because I think your timer just ran out.
Oh, it did.
Okay, so charisma save.
I got mine just in time.
25.
25. You take 12 points of psychic damage through the neural connection with the item, half to 6, because you did make your save.
Okay.
The space gets icy cold, however. Everything almost kind of like freezing. And the mask hovers there, and then the mask shrinks in size, and then a feminine kind of non-binary form, a mixed femininity, mixed non-binary, a little bit of masculinity kind of blended into this form. The wings kind of come out and then come back down as well.
I kneel.
Yeah, they kind of come over towards you and look down. They place a hand on your right shoulder, causing you to come up. You're now booned automatically because the god has interacted with you. You now have a D20 of inspiration for the next 24 hours.
Nice.
As a boon.
Okay.
Gulsha, you've done so much in such a short period of time. Even you can see the utility of what they're trying to do here.
I do, my queen, but I also know that his presence here is a calming factor. It is at the least a balance to the powers that are being enacted in this area.
They glide away from you. Feet move, but legs do not. It's very strange, almost as if they just kind of float towards where the now frozen visage of Lord Silverhand. You watch as they put their hand through the visage and out. This is not the whole person. There is no soul here. I can put my hand right through what they are. I look for the connection. Connection is not there. To mess with the very understanding of time does carry its consequences.
I understand that, my queen, but I also know your power, and if you could bring his soul to him, it would help us immensely in our cause.
I bring him here. Make him complete. I will be identified. Merkel does not know that me and Ball have our agreements. Merkel is a creature of the old time, the old world. His hate, dangerous. He establishes himself here, and he intends to stay. While powerful, I am not fully formed yet. You watch as they float to the other side of the visage of Silverhand. But this caricature of a lordship does seem committed to the idea of bringing back the old world. Question is the old world truly worth bringing back? Is it not safer to assume that you and your friends reshape this world into something new. Something that's not going to fall victim to the same old hates, same old misgivings, mistrusts. Yes, death and pain is a part of this new world, but death and pain is part of birth as well. They drift over to Arena. They lean in and kind of boop her on the halfling nose, just boop.
Cute.
He is.
You almost said
adorable.
gnome.
I know, right?
I am not a gnome. I am not
Yes,
a gnome.
I've talked to her about converting, but she's resistant.
Oh no, her embrace of the truth keeps herself well grounded. No doubt that these friends that you gather around you and you watch as they grab the necklace around Arena's neck, there may even be new life forms to be had here. At some point, your journey should take you to Thay. What the Red Wizards had done to that place is, well, both a desecration of the arcane, but an intelligent way of saving themselves. If I do this, and you watch as they drift past over to where Kai stands, you watch as they kind of fiddle with Kai's tiefling-like horn. You watch as they drift over to where Derek is. They stand there, arms crossed, staring at Derek, slight head tilt. Not everybody here, Gulshaw, believes in this as much as you do. You watch as they kind of play with the curls of Derek's hair, and they turn towards you. I'm
Those
not
ran down my spine.
not really sure this is worth revealing so much truth if all of it does generates the same lies all over again. Me and Ball have kept balance. The world heals and recovers. The other greater and lesser gods have wandered off to the primordial sea to, well, discover new heavens, build new planets, build new worlds, practice their plots and schemes. Neither one of us were prepared to give up. We've stayed, knowing this could be a risk. Give me a persuasion check, Gulshaw.
Okay. Persuasion. 28.
28. I see the passion in your face. You wear the champion's brace across your neck. Retrieving that necklace from the Fire Warden, well, that established your faith in me. Retrieving the scroll of the Oshram Temple's findings and the original use of that temple tells me that you're prepared to make the appropriate sacrifices to bring my word to wherever it can be used to bring balance to a now desperate world. However, a third trial hangs at your waist. The unification of my word to Ball's word, placed with you a most interesting crafted item. For that item that we gave you is your faith, an extension of your belief in me and my trust in you and the establishment of us. Utilizing it will be difficult, but I believe in you. So, I will do this thing that you ask. This will reveal me and Ball to the rest who are maybe stalking this world but have not been known to us. We will be revealed to Merkel. Our power will be revealed to Merkel. We will be in jeopardy, and the fight will begin as soon as this battle ends. But the only thing I ask is that you build a temple. Build a temple not to the Raven Queen, not to Ball. But whatever is revealed to you on your next leg of your journey to rediscover the Oshram Temple, to rediscover its purpose, its power, and when you finally develop the understanding of this gift that we have bestowed upon you, perhaps something new will arise from something old. But me and Ball will do our best. The god of death, the god of life, will combine what we can. We will do what we can to fend off Merkel's power coming into the prime material plane as best we can. I will be momentarily weakened from this effort because dealing with time is not easy. You watch as they glide over to where Lord Silverhand sits. You watch as they pull apart the visage, fracturing it and splitting it in two. A very thin white line pops into existence, coiling out and drifts into a now oscillating tunnel, and it goes back. You can hear the millions and millions of screams of deaths and birth over many centuries when this tunnel opens up around this thin-like thread. Give me another charisma save, please, as your sanity is being challenged at this point. The psychic nature of what's going on is quite profound.
I rolled a 10.
Take 38 points of psychic damage, please.
Okay.
When this is over, you're just gonna fall backwards.
I know. You're gonna be like, "What's wrong with Gulshaw?"
The tunnel oscillates and coalesces and spins even faster. You watch as they drift up to the tunnel, and with two hands, they plunge their hands into the tunnel, grabbing onto something and then pulling it in the direction. The sound of an entire existence, of an entire universe, collapses from this effort. You feel that timeline that this fractured entity was part of collapse. See electronic ripples coalescing through the tunnel that they have pulled this thin strand through, and this energy pulses out from the effect, and you can see these contrails begin to spin off, corkscrew, little ebbs of the discontinued span of 1 billion lives that are winked out of existence. And you feel that energy pulse out, and that energy kind of reflect back at the same time. Give me another charisma save, please.
Make it higher. Make it higher. And don't forget you have a D20 of inspiration.
Make it lower.
I know, but I want to save it for something good. So that
That's
would
24
be,
hours, man.
That'd be a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Take
Yeah.
18 points of psychic damage, halved to 9. A little trickle of blood begins to ebb from your nose from the psychic collision that is going on around you.
Getting my ass kicked, but I was standing here. Okay.
You then watch as they
What?
they form like almost like a semantic incantation with their hands. And you watch as the tunnel splits apart. You watch a small green-like form drift through the tunnel. Now that the fractured hole is here, you watch as the whole form, the split apart visage, they gently remold, reform, and remold this visage, and they take the little fractured entity and jam it into the burbling mass of energy that is now the reformed visage of the whole Silverhand. The fracture retrieved, the timeline collapsed. There's just this pulse. You watch as this pulse of almost like an imbalance echoes out from the effect. And then you watch as they kind of withdraw. Their shoulders kind of sigh a bit. The mask turns towards you. The single blood and blackened tear near the eye. The mouth never moving, but yet the voice in your head soothing. Yeah. The rest is up to your young friend, Arena. I believe now restoring his full sentient self. At great cost to all of us, I hope will reap great reward for the future. A future I cannot see. It is something that the goddess Ayun used to be capable of, but she has long drifted from this world. However, something has revealed itself to me. There is something here. There's a sentient force trying to reestablish itself with the weave. I felt it when I collapsed that universe, knowing that this individual could no longer exist in that universe. Mistra takes on many forms. She can be an individual that's embraced the weave. She can be a lesser deity that has decided to take on the responsibility of the weave. Mistra was said to be completely annihilated during the Rift Wars and the near success of the Pestilent one. However, there is a sentient entity that is attempting to reestablish itself with the weave. Be mindful of this. Be aware of it. They drift a little bit away from you, but their hands kind of caress your chin and kind of wiggle the bottom of your chin and tap at the champion vestige that you carry around your neck. You have come far, Gulshaw. You've come very far. Go the rest of the way. It'll be painful. It'll be extremely painful. Know this. In your devout nature and understanding of me, I am relearning my understanding of you and your friends. And it's lessons like this teach us how to be who we are. You are a good teacher, Gulshaw. How to be a good student with the others. It's not a flat world, this is a round world that drifts in a primordial sea of the material plane, coexisting with many millions of other places. Whether by happenstance, circumstance, or by deliberate effect, all of you exist together for a reason. Let it reveal itself, nurture it, support it, get it to understand what it is that you're trying to do, and you will know the right time to wield that weapon. It's a dark path. Many millions that remain on this world suffer. You are merely blazing a trail in a small space that will cascade itself out for the remainder of time and existence. If you are snuffed out, that hope will be snuffed out as well, and we will descend back into the chaos of this world. So, I wish you well, wish you luck. You watch as that icy feeling kind of oscillates away. Everything that paused momentarily speeds back up into normal form. You watch as Arena finishes quickly casting the Lesser Restoration spell. There's this huge kind of intake of breath from everybody, including Lord Silverhand. As he immediately stands to his feet, the edges of his eyes normalized, his skin pallor normalizing, the capillaries of his nose, the lip distended coloration kind of like receding back into his mouth. Vert just looked shocked and stunned. We've tried so many methods. How is this possible? Kai immediately is overwhelmed. The immediate obvious nature and health. Derek and Arena left dumbfounded at this.
Yep, totally dumbfounded. I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe that happened, but that's all in my head.
All
Hey,
of you.
Gulshaw, they were basically telling you not to fuck it up.
Yeah, it's usually what they do.
And with that, Belev, are you there?
Belev.
Yep.
You feel someone sit at the foot of your bed. You feel a rather firm grip on your foot, and you hear a familiar voice. Balev, are you awake?
Uh, um, no. Yeah.
Turn your head from the direction of your pillow to look over your shoulder. There's Scorch sitting at the foot of your bed. His visage somewhat not what you would expect it to be. He has taken on the form of a human entity that doesn't look familiar to you at all. It's a new form that he's taken on. A long beard descending off his chin, worried eyes that don't even require an insight check, a face conflicted, confused, heavily rutted, heavily tanned, wearing leathers and a cloak, a bow stretched along his back, two swords on either side. I was wondering, Valev, if you would, like to go for a ride.
Yeah. How long had it been since I'd fallen asleep?
Maybe an
Not
hour.
that long.
Yeah, maybe an hour max.
Okay. I was up all night and I just fell asleep, and we have to be up all night tonight because we're going on, like to the bridge with Gulshaw's family. Can we do it a little later?
Well, I have something very important to show you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Like half eyes closed, like just gather my things and go with them outside.
The two of you drift out you drift past the high moons, or just busy with the normal lunch routine. The front of the mercantile is bustling with individuals coming and going. Two of you sneak your way out the back door towards the open-aired eatery that's behind the tavern, and eventually you wander off into a quiet space where he transforms into Scorch, the actual dragon form of Scorch, but is aged again. Would seem that little encounter, that triggering effect, had caused him to essentially attain ancient status. His full massive form coming into existence, the black red cracked effect, almost like a lava like effect of his skin and scales. A very ancient kind of energy emanating off of his form as you crawl up onto his back. And just like that, both you and him turn invisible and then leap into the air. You feel the wind buffet you and kind of push your hair back as you hold on to the scales. He's not going at a clip that would require you for any kind of checks or anything. You're able to hold on. You're tired, but you notice that the pace that Scorch is setting is quite fast once you get up to like the 1,000-foot level. And for the first time in a long time, daylight, and you can look and see down below. See all of Whist laid out in this neat, ordered center point of the town that is now beginning to grow ever bigger in a more chaotic fashion outside of the town. You can see great columns of refugees reestablishing themselves from the west once again. You can see the road leading deep into the easternly plains out towards where you know the Maw Chasm Bridge to be. You're now circling, and you could see after a few, not more than 15, 20 minutes later, you could see the mountain range where you and your friends had escaped. Well, you had heard how they escaped from the volcanic underwarrens, made their way down into the Pim Swamp, and eventually making their way back into Whist. Same swampy area. You can even see the demarcation of the area where you knew to be the egg chamber that you had retrieved Scorch and the others from. He begins to fly in a casual direction, and then about an hour into the flight, You've made a great deal of time. You're momentarily visible. And then within a few minutes, you're invisible again. He seems to be repeat casting a greater invisibility spell on the two of you to keep you hidden. And what takes days takes hours. You begin to circle over an area that your friends have described as the Jasper mining colony. Although the description that you see now quite match the description that you recall them telling you. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
All right, let's see here.
This is a major
21.
21. As this long pattern that Scorch takes to kind of hover over this space, you can see not far from this mining camp or this location, in the very center of it is a massive structure. You remember them describing it as a single story structure, but attached to it, you can see a 10-story tower that's been built. You can also see all around it a series of lattice work covered in effigies of bones, skulls, the remains of maybe thousands of desiccated and destroyed forms of humanoid sort, of one sort or the other. You then see this massive platform has been erected and built out at the very top of the tower, and it kind of overhangs the very central portion of the Jasper mining colony. On this platform, you can see a massive skull-like effigy built of humanoid bones. In front of it, an altar. You watch as figures are moving about, and a figure interacts with the altar, and then another figure is brought up, interacts with the altar, and again as this necrotic-like energy begins to pulse out from this space. All down below, you can see hundreds of encampments, maybe numbering into thousands, as this space has been overrun and overtaken. The main fort itself in the middle, surrounding this huge new altar that's been built, this massive tower, this space overcome with whatever this thing is. And then the dragon banks away and takes you towards the mountain and circles above the mountain. And as he does, you can see a dragon form of some kind. It's more of a young dragon form state. It's made up of like a blue and blackish coloration. It seems kind of like curled up and at the base of a mining, like an opening of a mine. You recognize this mine entrance similar to that was described as Turcasta's lair. Those individuals that talked about this creature that was put in charge of this space to guard it and prevent it from falling into decay or perhaps falling into enemy hands or unknown hands. This space littered with many dozens of campfires. You can see great pens that have been erected filled with dozens of individuals held in bondage, only to be released and forced into these mines. The dragon banks to the other side of the mountain. A great multitude of individuals have basically descended on this one part of this particular side of the mountain, and they are excavating something. All you can see is the beginnings of a very large stone-like hand that is partially coming out of this freshly excavated side of the mountain. And with that, he banks away yet again and begins to descend in the direction of the Pim Swamp and in the direction of the egg chamber. Another hour passes as you make your way over there. Once again, what took you and your friends days to traverse by foot or by horse or cart, Scorch is accomplishing with no problem. Then the two of you land in the clearing in front of the egg chamber. In this clearing, the old attempt to camouflage it peeled apart, ripped to shreds. torn open. A great destructive force has entered this space. And then, as the two of you watch as you become visible again, Scorch turns back into this new form that he's taken on, this haunting kind of rugged form of a person that's seen more than they wish to see, knows more than they wish to know. And the two of you are standing there with the exposed entrance of the egg chamber. I don't know who it was. Somebody found this place, retrieved at least one or maybe more survived eggs, and now knows more than I think we wish them to know. I don't know what to do, Lev. I'm conflicted. I feel like choosing sides is important here. As much as you and your friends have helped me, I don't necessarily feel like you're the winning side, to be honest with you. You saw the multitudes. Whatever it is they're praying to is giving them great power. And I have walked among them. Seem to be near discovery something called the life engine. They have also made mention of a book that they need to retrieve. A book from a long dead place called Candlekeep, a great library of some ancient world. For whatever reason, my memory knows of this place. Don't know where it is, but I know what it is. This final form I've taken on, I believe, is meant for a reason. I've lounged at the foot of the tomb down in that egg chamber. There is an echo of something there that needs to be released, but it does not feel like something that is good for this world. You watch as he frustratedly sits down on the ground, crosses his legs, looks up at you, still not quite capable of emotion. I feel like I am supposed to make a choice for that. But since you started me on this path, your insight would be appreciated.
Well, that was a lot.
Yes, it was.
Okay. So, you said you think we're on the losing side of this, but with your help, it might not be the losing side. You are even bigger than before, and I'm sure you're even more powerful and can do more big crazy magic. We can't let it out. It's bad. You said it yourself. It's bad for this world. It'll ruin things. So many will die.
Part of me wonders if picking a side is even meant to be. Perhaps not partaking at all is the better course for me. Merely to examine and deal with the leftovers at my own pace.
Do you want to hide in a hole for thousands of years?
I feel like I'm capable of doing it. Yes.
Well, sure, I guess you can, but is that how you want to live that long? That sounds lonely and miserable.
I feel that old already. I merely have not physically lived the time. The memories are with me, and I am pulled towards that tomb, every ounce of my being to resist it, because I know I will be giving up myself by releasing that abomination upon the world. I know this.
Somebody told me that we're all have a purpose. And we're supposed to be able to figure that out in our lives at some point, hopefully, I guess. I don't know. I'm just a kid.
I envy you, Valev. I feel my purpose has been forced upon me, with or without my willingness. I feel like I have been manufactured and made for a single use, and it's you that have given me the strength. Reflect upon that. Valev, go ahead and give me a persuasion check, please.
Make
Well,
it
that's
good, buddy.
dumb.
Make it good, buddy.
Persuasion. I'm so not charismatic.
Do you have any inspiration?
That pigeon carries a long way, doesn't it?
Right?
No. If it was from like 2 or 3
Damn.
sessions ago, and it was, I don't know. 13.
13.
I had some other stuff I was gonna say before I was gonna make that roll. I was just gonna say, I was gonna counterpoint him
Continue.
with, well, that's dumb. I think that's stupid. Why don't you get a choice? Everybody's supposed to be able to figure out what they want to do with their life. That's why I wasn't upset or mad that all the slavers died. It was really bad that some of the slaves died too. But they take away people's choice, and that's not right. You shouldn't have your choice taken away. You should be able to choose to do the right thing, what you think is the right thing.
I understand your point, Valev, but I have 1,000 years of memories tied up in my head. I don't know if I'm destined for a choice. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. I feel like your involvement has prevented me from doing something I shouldn't do. But yet now I feel like any choice I make is an inevitable choice. Taking myself completely out of the equation might be the healthier choice.
So where will you go?
Don't know. There are lands that stray on and on all from this point. There are many places I could go. There's even lands that aren't connected to this land on the far side of these massive oceans that separate them.
But what about the other dragons? There aren't any other that we know of, really. Like, shouldn't you try and get them all together and teach them how to, I don't know, continue your race?
He stands up and leans in towards you. Belev, they don't have you. The ones that you have, I think, can be controlled. They can be made, be harnessed. I think somehow I was meant to be the first one. Don't know why. I just know it feels that way to me. That abomination we saw back at the Jasper mining colony, whatever that blue dragon is, whatever that half creature is that they pulled from the ground, I don't believe is going to be as much of a threat because, well, there's a uniqueness in you, Valev, that has created the last bits of what I am. Whether it's a collision of chance or a collision of the magics involved, I don't know. But I believe I do have 3 choices in front of me. 1, take myself out of the equation and give you a fighting chance. 2, side with you and your friends and expose myself to something that could put me in immediate threat and harm. Or 3, fulfill what I was programmed for. Release Master Philip, release him back upon a world that he was meant to control, and fulfill what I was supposed to do. don't like any of these choices, but I feel like all three of them are relevant to me. All three of them have equal purpose. All three of them seem to be paths I must select from. He begins to kind of wander towards the entrance of the egg chamber, and you watch as he suddenly brings up his hand, and a small orb appears in his hand, and it just kind of glides over in front of the main egg chamber. And you watch as the entrance, just erupts into rock, dirt, debris, and collapse in on itself. Well, two choices then. That abomination will not walk this planet ever again.
Big sigh of relief.
Well,
Thoughts to be reckoned with. Come, let me take you home. And kind of turns back into his massive self. You reluctantly kind of crawl onto his
Before
back.
I get up
Yeah.
onto him, as he transforms into his self, I'm going to wild shape into my bearkin form and just say to him, both of us in our true nature run into the sky together.
You watch as the massive head of the dragon points and looks back at you. I just thought of something. How would
Hmm?
you like to see the Maw Chasm and the bridge? How would you like to be the first one there? I mean, your friends are going to meet you there anyways, right?
I think we're all going together.
A waste of time. I can have you there in a few hours.
I mean, I'm still really tired. I don't think I got a long rest in, so.
Party
Um.
pooper.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
He banks, and you watch as leaving the egg chamber over your left shoulder, your bear form, and his dragon form, just kind of drifting and taking that casual kind of approach back and
Oh
forth.
yeah. Why was I still in Velev voice? Sorry, that should have been Bear Velev voice. My bad.
And the two of you are now drifting in the direction that you know to be the Maw Cavern Bridge.
Can
So-
you send Arena a message?
I believe so. I'll let her know that we're going there.
Okay. Okay.
So
Cool.
with that will consume most of your time, Velev, as you make your way towards the Maw Chasm. For the rest of you, dealing with now what appears to be a reinstated Silverhand, no longer seeming to be affected by whatever disease. He seems fit and whole of heart and health. He stands up, looks around.
How do you feel?
I
good
feel
job, Arena.
amazing. I feel better than I felt ever since I got here. What are you and what did you do? Why did this work, Vert? Why did this work with her and not with all the other attempts? My lord, I do not know. This is insane. This doesn't make sense. We've tried all of these things before. I don't know. Accept it for the gift that it is, my lordship. You appear to be whole yet again. We can only take advantage of what we've been given.
Yay!
I sort of slow clap to Arena. Good job.
That is a creepy yay.
Yay!
What do I roll or do I notice Gulsha
Yeah,
injuries?
Is his nose bleeding?
I would say all of your passive is high enough, but there is a slight trickle of blood and a bit of a kind of edginess to him, like something happened, but you're not really sure what.
I'm gonna, like
You all right?
side eye Gulsha, raise an eyebrow. You okay?
I'm well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, come. Let us make preparations to get this caravan off and on its way tonight. We will
I-
celebrate the opening of the bridge in the morn, and, well, needless to say, I feel like a new person. Kai, I will leave you with your friends. Vert, I will still send for Tamlin, but I'm going to try to meet up with Brachus and have some conversations about what to do with the patrols and the guards that we'll be needing to take with us and find out what his plans are. But I feel amazing. You watch as he kind of like reaches down, picks up a bottle of something, drinks it. I can taste again. Awesome. And he kind of wanders towards Vert's door.
Before he walks away, I'd like to ask him for a little bit of a private word, real
Derek,
quick,
walk with me.
and I'll go with him.
Okay. Two of you kind of
I
walk out,
approach.
Verts.
I approach Bert.
Arena, what did you do? What was that?
I only cast Lesser Restoration on him. I have no idea. If you guys cast Lesser Restoration on him, that should have. I mean, that.
Well, first of all, I've never heard of Lester Restoration.
Lester Restoration. Lester Resto. Yeah. Lester.
It only works on Lester.
There's Tasha's hideous laughter. Why can't there be Lester's restoration?
Yeah, it was made. It was invented by Lester, the cleric.
I only cast
Of a
Lesser.
long ancient religion called Catholicism.
Yes.
Saint Lester.
Yes.
Lester the Pester.
Lester
I'm not-
the pestilent one.
We have tried that. Many Unther himself tried it as well. We made changes to the magical nature of the effect. We used shamanistic magics. We used pantheon magics. To solve this problem is a major step. This is
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm amazing. Woohoo. Okay, so on a
Clearly, the
different.
glory of the twins ride with you.
Yeah. And I'm side-eyeing Gulshaw. So on another note, I have Max attached to that construct
Yes.
in my necklace, and I was wondering, because I'm not sure how their battle has fared, and I was wondering if we could maybe go into one of your safe spaces and maybe see if we take him out, if they're okay.
Well, unfortunately, the only safe
Are they-
space I have is
Dragon.
two of them.
Oh.
And I'd rather not introduce new magics in that space. I think this lab should be safe enough to do what we need to do.
Okay, I mean, it got 15 feet tall. It might bust a hole out of that wall.
Well, if I recall, at some point it got almost 30 feet tall at the height of its rage. I
30
understand, but I
tall.
also
That's
trust
what
all of you and
Height,
Derek
you know,
is-
I'm a halfling, so it all seems tall to me.
and realizing that only Gulshaw and Arena are left behind, the two of you aware of what Max actually is? Has he told you?
He's a mask.
He's a mask. That's what he's told us.
Well, that's part of his story. I have been spending some research on trying to better understand the nature. So I believe what's happened to him is based on what we know it's happened to the Deep North. There was an organization called the Red Wizards of Thay. They were masters of the Arcane. We know that at some point, well, based on the recovery of some relics, we know at some point they knew the end was coming. They chose enchanted reliquary items that they infused themselves into and then bonded with these items in an effort to maintain their sentient energies. What they didn't count on, however, was the collapse of the Weave and the Weave's destruction. This severed their ability to control these things, and these relics that they were attached to were discarded, ejected out into the desert plains surrounding their kingdom. These constructs that they created wandered in madness. However, did not. I believe Max is a red wizard, but he doesn't know it. He has no memory of it. I believe whatever caused the ejection of his relic out into wherever it ended up, he has made mention about being buried underneath a very large tower or under a debris related to a large building. I'm not really sure. But I think somehow he was not affected by the disconnection of the weave. The sentient creature was protected whole inside the mask. The only deviation from this would appear to be a loss of memory. This loss of memory that I have not been able to figure out how to bring back. His magics allow him to coexist with other sentient creatures. His actual purpose is unknown to me, but his mask, the thing that he is a sentient creature. I think it's been attached to that poor unconscious form over there, and for the first time, looking over to a slab table, the continued unconscious form of the human existence of Max, a steady pace of drool coming from the mouth, not purposely bound for purpose of punishment, but bound to the slab in an effort to keep the individual steady and held in place without threat of falling off the table. I will continue to try to recover whatever this is, but after studying further about Max, what he is, the relic, if this disassociation from the weave did cause him to be ejected out and away from his original form that he was adhered to, that he was formed to, Max is well over 200 years old. Max may even have somewhere buried deep under all of that psychosis somewhere an understanding of the entirety of the old world. Whether or not retrieving it is possible, I do not know. Perhaps it is, perhaps it is not. However, binding him to a relic of the old world and him being a relic of the old world, well, poses interesting questions that I don't have answers for. So, you feel we should give it a try, release him from the necklace, and let us see what we have.
I kind of get ready, just in case.
Yeah.
Vert, you don't happen to have any healing potions available, do you?
Oh, I always have at least a half a dozen or so. I've been making more to send with Brachus's men, but I've not delivered them yet.
I think I'll need a few.
He hands you 2 greater restoration healing pots.
Healing potion.
I
Nice.
drink them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kai, you're still there as well.
Okay.
So you're now privy to the max portion that Vert has figured out. And the 3 of you are standing there with Vert having this conversation. Derek, you're
Okay.
walking with Lord Silverhand right now. And Valev, you are making your way with Scorch towards the Maw Chasm Bridge. So for the 3 of you in Vert's lab, Vert kind of looks at you expectantly, Arena.
I will send him a quick prayer and then turn the locket.
You turn it, flash of light, that familiar kind of sense of arcane energy pouring out of it and onto the ground. And there, coalescing back into existence, is the 6-foot tall sentinel edifice of a elderly Silverhand with the mask festooned to its face. Max, you're now out of the necklace. You are now aware that you're in Vert's lab. Standing in front of you and to the side of you is Gulshaw, Arena, Kai, and Vert himself, the four of them looking at you very expectantly. If eyes could be fingers that are poking strange gelatinous cubes, is kind of the vibe you're picking up here at this point.
Max, is that you in there?
I'm gonna turn and look at Arena. Arena,
Yeah.
you need to clean up that place. It smells like dog shit.
Well, you
That's
know,
Max.
I'll send you.
It's not a joke. If you're gonna put people in there, clean it up.
Most
Bert
of the time,
Bert kind of
bodies in
leans back against one of his walls. Oh yeah, that's definitely Max. Same humor, same wit.
I'm gonna go walk over to my old possessee.
Okay. You're now looking down at a very simple looking individual.
Is he drooling?
He does have that comatose kind of look about his face. His eyes kind of drifted apart and up into his eyelids. There's no real emotional connection that you have, just a physical remnant of something that has carried you for the better part of a handful of years.
I'm gonna take my gear off of him.
Okay.
Shit, this shit's mine.
Retrieving all of your gear, which was actually safely stowed by Vert. That's been handled and managed, so you have all your gear back that you originally had.
All right, get it back.
Can you wear it, or do you have like compartments to put it in? Can you
Is
like?
his AC naturally 20? What is it?
23.
Or is that with his gear on?
Is it 22 or 23?
He no longer has to wear armor, no longer has to wear anything other than
Freaking cool.
items that will help hold his other items. But being in the Sentinel form now and attached to the Sentinel form is an AC of 23.
Can he like open up his chest and put stuff in it?
He cannot Voltron it, no.
Oh man.
Can you turn into a car?
Does he have a hollow leg?
Turns into a yellow VW bug.
Yeah.
If he can like expand and get bigger and get smaller, I mean, why can't he just like open up a chest cavity and keep his stuff in there?
Ask
Wow,
him.
you're just
I mean, he doesn't need to breathe or anything, so
I
why?
love you. You love to meld the world the way you want it, and I love it. No matter what. I love you, man. That's awesome. Can't he just bend his head back and then stuff the stuff in and then bend it back forward?
Wait, is
Right?
he a Pez? Is he a Pez? Max,
He's like,
Ration
Max the
comes out of his-
Pez.
Yeah.
put his wrist back and or put his hand back, and like a sword comes out of his arm, you know, or
All right, let's get out of here.
okay. All right, Max, I'm so glad that you and the statue are one now, I guess. Yeah. How weird is it?
I feel like I weigh 2 tons.
You do weigh 2 tons. I was carrying you around on my neck all night. You weigh 2 tons. Yeah.
All right.
It's different.
Let's make our way to the caravan.
So as all of you make your way,
Yeah, to talk with Vert again more.
you
No.
can if you want. He's still standing there.
Is there anything more that we needed? Vert, I might need to borrow someone to poop or scoop my necklace.
I'm not really sure how that works, Serena. But
Well, I mean, Max says there's a bunch of poop in there. Ghost has been yeah.
he's probably messing with you, Arena. I don't think the magic works that way. It's self-cleaning, I believe.
There's a plane of poop that it goes to.
Yeah, I know. It's
You
probably
don't want to go there.
And as the three of you begin to walk away, Bert stops you from leaving, Max. It kind of like has... Max, can I ask you something?
Yes.
How's your memory?
The same as before.
I believe there's a chance. I don't know how this will work, but as you bond with this entity, I believe it resides and came from the same time that you did. I believe it was built for a very specific purpose, and its purpose, whether fulfilled or not, is, well, be decided. But you both come from a time, one with a memory of it, and one with a memory without it. I think be cautious, but explore it at the same time. It may help you.
We'll see. I'm gonna whip out my little book and start drawing in it.
Give me sleight of hand with disadvantage.
New fingers.
The fingers are a little bit chunky.
A little bit chunky. 13.
13. The fingers are unable to hold on and grab the writing implement. It snaps in your hand and drops to the ground. It's clumsy to hold on to the journal that you write into.
Can you like picture thinner, more dexterous fingers and they like happen?
As that conversation plays out on the way out
Pushing
the
it,
door,
just pushing it.
Vert just shakes his head in disbelief. The door shuts. Derek, you are currently walking alongside Silverhand, the two of you having a conversation. Yes, young Derek, what is it that you require?
I have come into contact with the residents of the lowland woods. They are displeased with the encroachment on their territory from the logging.
Resident an abandoned wood. We have looked for anybody that would inhabit or live in that space. There are no tribes, there are no clans or any residents that I know of out there.
One second. The dryads that live in the forest. To be more
Dryads, they
specific.
have been gone for some time, or at least that's what Vert and Tamlin told me. Was part
So
of
were dragons, so were giants and purple worms, but a lot of things seem to be coming out of the woodwork now.
Point taken, young Derek.
The woodwork.
So, what would you have me do, young Derek? What can I reward you with? I mean, do you require my intervention?
I honestly don't know. The forest lumber is required, obviously, for constructing new buildings, but the dryads are worried and are becoming increasingly more displeased, whether they are debating whether they should leave the forest entirely or if they should retaliate.
So these woods, the lowland woods, I believe they border Treverton, correct?
Yes, and far to the what is it?
As I see it, when you and your friends take over the magistrate duties of Treverton and establish yourselves down there, the lowland woods are yours to do with as you please. Find another area, find another place to harvest lumber from, protect that space that you feel needs protecting. Perhaps a new ally could be more beneficial than a chair or a table or a crudely constructed building.
Perhaps. It'll be some time before we can get to Treverton, though, and I'm sure they'll continue the logging until then. Could you send word down to the current representative? Maybe have him go to the southern woods instead.
I believe I can accomplish that without much difficulty.
Thank you, Lord Silverhand.
Like your friends are coming out. Any plans and arrangements to be made? Have you and your friends do and accomplish whatever they need. And we plan on setting course with the caravan this evening, 4 or 5 hours from now, I believe.
I believe we shall be there.
Good. I will begin arrangements. Thank you, young Derek, for your honesty and your candor. And you watch as he turns and makes a beeline for a group of what appears to be Crown's Guard, commingled with Brackus and a couple of Sergeant of Arms. A series of conversations kind of ensue. A noticeable burst of energy, some laughter as the group of them begin to kind of do whatever they need to get done. You watch as your friends come out of Vert's tower, walk in your direction. The 5 of you are there. No sign of Velev yet, but the 5 of you are there. It's probably all this activity has consumed at least an hour or so. It's gone from mid-morning to afternoon. But you have a solid 4 hours to do whatever you need to do before meeting up with Fahima and Fatma, Gulshah's aunt and uncle, and the caravan waiting to begin its journey east.
Okay.
Cool. So I have something that I have to attend to, so I'll be heading out through town. I'll probably meet up with you all at the caravan later.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Chimera and deal with all the last minute things with the high moons and get ready to go.
Okay.
So
Derek, do you want me to bring Dudley when I come to or are you going to collect him?
Dudley's already here. He does not leave my. He's not like yours. He doesn't leave
It was
from my side.
It doesn't help me, so I'm not going to do it. Okay.
I'll just take him with me.
Okay.
Kyle, go to the Chimera also. Pack up and maybe tinker around in the shop for a little bit. See if she can come up with some potions.
Fair
She has
enough.
time.
Damn it.
Blaze isn't even here yet.
So, with that, all of you make your way to the Chimera to begin the process of getting ready for the journey east. Gulshah, what are you doing with your time?
Just packing up my mount and making
Okay.
sure I have everything.
Okay. So all of you gather up your equipment, your goods, get any horses that you want to take along with you, any equipment. And eventually the afternoon turns into early evening. Still no sign of Velev, except for at one point, Arena. You may not be back yet, actually.
Hold on.
Oh, okay. Usually when she's getting her animes gets twitchy, it's because she's talking to someone else.
All jerky.
No, I have to go lock the door.
Oh, gotcha.
Getting all
Okay,
jerky. in
Sorry,
there.
I missed that. What was that?
So at some point during your preparations for the evening caravan route to the Maw Bridge, you receive a message from a familiar voice. Arena, just so you're aware, Velev is with me, and we will meet you and your friends at the Maw Chasm Bridge. You may reply to this message.
Is that the end of it? Gorge, I'm so happy you're okay. I look forward to seeing you and Velev at the bridge.
Get the feeling the message was received.
Okay.
All of you make your way over towards the caravan. Derek, where are you spending your next 3 or 4 hours?
I was going to go to the Lowland Woods to speak with. Let me get her name up here.
Iliathan?
Eliathan. It's hard for me to say. Eliathan.
It's definitely got some challenge spellings, that is for sure. Let me pull up my notes on this one really quick.
I'm not used to the ENs and
Yep.
the things.
So, with that, you wander out into the familiar area. The sounds and signs of the creatures are here. It usually tells you that that's connected to the dryad's existence. You make your way into the area where you know to be where the pond is, and you find the massive pond all ringed and surrounded with all manner of nature, including creatures kind of either hovering or sitting in the trees. You watch as a large forest tiger kind of leaps up onto a branch. You watch as a massive bear goes walking by, and swimming and kind of kicking in circles, the nude form of the dryad kind of turns to look to see you at the edge, and she sees you and goes, "Oh, Derek, I was not expecting you so soon. Is everything okay?"
Yes, I thought I'd inform you of the meeting and get the information you said you possessed.
"Oh,
I'll be leaving for a time after this.
yes. Well, it would just so happen that this individual, this man you're looking for, I believe his name was Terra Nafil.
Yes.
One of my, well, one of my trees caught a glimpse of this sentient energy, this humanoid form. Well, he is located at a spot called the Jasper Mining Colony. He is heavily armored and heavily equipped, as he was described to me. All of the facial features, all manner of his appearance seem to match. However, he does seem to be a part of the organization that is there.
I am visibly dejected in a way, sort of confused.
She her form kind of swims up to the very edge where you're kind of sitting and slumped over. She kind of reaches out her hand underneath your chin and kind of rubs it gently. "What? Take it this is not what you expected? I mean, we found him. That should be a good thing."
The group that he is with, rather
I,
dangerous.
yes, the entity that I sent. Many rather scary things going on there. The things that they seem to do to one another and to those held captive in the cages, and, well, there's a foul energy emanating from that place. You watch as she digs her hands into the soil and pulls it up, and you watch as the soil just kind of dissolves and melts through her fingers and onto the ground. It smells like death there.
Thank you. Uh, I've had the Lord of the Regent send word to the current management in charge of the logging of your forest. They will. We need the lumber, so they will be going to the southern wood for now. So that should stop in a few days.
Well, I can be of any assistance to this effort. I will gladly help. Um, are you leaving, Derek?
Yes, we are heading up to the Maw Chasm.
Ah, very old place. I will wish you well, but perhaps before you go, I could give you a gift for what you've done.
Um, of course, thank you.
She turns away from you and she dips back underneath the surface of the water. She's under the water for a good 2 or 3 minutes and then comes back up. And she's carrying a small, soaking wet, kind of like leather satchel. And she brings it over to you. I found this many years ago under some rocks. Don't know what it is, but perhaps it can help you and your friends. And she kind of puts it on the edge of the embankment. The leather portion of the enclosed portion of the satchel kind of flops open as it's been untied. And a pair of gauntlets, leather studded gauntlets, kind of spill out of the satchel and onto the ground.
I will pick it up and sort of Also grabbing out the gauntlets and sort of inspecting the bag and looking inside.
Give me an investigation check.
All right, this is at +1. Let's see what we get. That's not one.
What'd you get?
I got a nat 1.
Jesus Christ. You really do have the Will Wheaton curse, bro. We got to break
Hey,
that.
it's only right now, all right? I rolled good last week and the week before that, so I'm fine rolling dog shit for 1 week in a row.
Welcome to the club, buddy.
My
only
dice
thing
just dropped on the 1.
Yeah, the only thing that stands out to you is the fact that the gauntlets seem very well preserved, which would indicate a possible magical influence. The bag itself is quite rotted and nearly deteriorates as it comes to the surface. That's kind of why the gauntlets spilled out. But these studded gauntlets are probably magical, but other than that, they really give you no insight to what they are.
All right. I will. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. And you watch as she kind of goes back to the center of the pond, her strange kind of like green, like feminine visage smiling as she kicks and dips down deep into the pond. The creatures all melding back into the forested area, that familiar disconnect of the conversation.
Okay, since our business here is done, I will head back. I'll bring the satchel and the gauntlets. I'll carry the gauntlets though, since the bag is sort of ruined.
Fair enough. So all of you in the early evening hours meet up with the main caravan that has been assembled. The entire Golsha family has bivouacked and stored all of the tentage and equipment, and what was 10 carts earlier is now 25 carts, as the entire Golsha clan will be joining on this little adventure to the east. The basilisks do not require rest. They will keep a fair pace on the way to the Maw Bridge. The plan is to travel through the night and hopefully reach the location by either mid morning or early afternoon to begin the celebration that evening of the opening of the bridge and the connection between the greater inner plains of the greater Midlands with now the normal, what we would call the kind of like the lower plains or the westernly plains of the lower Midlands. A great vast area that has been unexplored and unnoticed for the better part of a couple hundred years, as this major chasm seems to run both north and south and is at least 100 feet, if not more, in width at certain points. Some wider than that. This particular point, this establishment of the bridge and its repair is at a point of the chasm that was always kind of like a place that could allow people to traverse over it, but it had fallen into disrepair and decay near the tail end of the Rift Wars and was never repaired and never built or built back up. For the most part, this is a large troop. There are at least 25 Crownsguard, including Lord Silverhand. Tamlin is joining as well. The Golsha clan itself is made up of about 50 individuals, all heavily armed and well trained of one sort of another. This journey will be unmolested, and that has been the intent of the size of this caravan. Not only to travel at night, but to make a very distinct show of strength. Brachus is joining along with an additional 50 of the newly formed Whist armed force that he has assembled, and creating this very pronounced kind of visual display of power and capability. The journey begins, and for the next 10 to 12 hours or so, all of you are free to do what you would like to accomplish during this time. No need for guard duty, no need for being heightened awareness, as the entirety of this caravan seems to be all self-containing and able to handle its normal function. There is something for all of you there. There's an energy here. Kai is, from time to time, she kind of rides up towards where her father is. They exchange words, and she kind of comes back with a smile on her face. Gulsha, the energy of your family, the energy of your clan, purposely contributing to this kind of feeling and filling you with this sense of purpose, plus sense of what you accomplished through your invocation of the crown, the circlet that kind of enshrined upon your brow. Arena, you're just full of yourself, convinced,
I am so
absolutely
not.
convinced that your lesser restoration may have single-handedly saved the known world.
It did.
No.
Max keeping an unusually steady pace alongside the caravan. Not prone to exhaustion, not prone to any sort of requirement of rest. Max, you now spend some time during this travel getting to know the true capabilities of this sentinel-like creature. And a couple things you become aware of. Your walk speed is roughly 30 feet, very similar to what you'd expect it to be. However, your run speed is 120 feet. You no longer require long rests. Your short rest is the equivalent of your long rest. You still haven't quite bound with the creature's sentient or magical ability, but you get the feeling when that occurs, perhaps more will be revealed to you. All of you wondering what's happened to Velev. Derek, you're kind of bringing up the rear portion of the caravan, looking over your shoulder as Whist kind of descends behind all of you. And for the first time in a long time, even regardless of heading west, deal with the missing blacksmith. You feel very much that this is a new direction that you're going in. This travel towards the Maw Bridge, what it perhaps could open up, even those kind of mysterious understandings of things that have been discovered during its construction and excavation. But the sense of celebration, the heightened energy, the chatter between different individuals, the patrol kind of circling the caravan as it continues deeper into the night, into the easterly direction of the Maw Bridge. All of you settle in for a long ride and a long trip towards what could be something very new, something very interesting, or possibly all of you kind of linger your eyes towards Max. Something maybe dangerous. And that's where we're going to finish tonight. We will pick up in 2 weeks with your travels to the bridge and what you find when you get to the Maw Bridge. Hopefully, Velev will be waiting there for you. And perhaps, maybe Velev will have an opportunity to even convince Scorch even more to join your side. Now, I know for our folks out there watching, this feels like we're early on in our episodes. The overall arc is about halfway completed. It took us well over a year to get to this point. So getting to the Maw Bridge is kind of a major kind of arc representation of the continuation of this story. So we probably have a whole nother year of journey ahead of us as we try to figure out what's going on out in the world, as they say. So, hey, everybody, thanks for coming out. Down here in the about space, everything you need to know about us. Please follow, subscribe. If you have a free Prime, follow us with Prime. That would be really helpful. We do have shows pretty much every night of the week. This week, we will have a little bit of an augmented schedule next week, but please jump into our Discord, roll for some dice, join us in our tales as we continue more adventures. As I always say, everybody, please stay safe, stay kind, and play a game. It's fun, and it's something we all need in our lives. Good night, everybody, and thank you.
Bye-bye.